Super Dinosaur! It already sounds awesome just from the name. So just how cool is this Canadian cartoon? I'm excited to find out. Super Dinosaur ran on Teletoon back in the fall of 2018, but it just came to the US last month thanks to Amazon Prime Video. While it is a Canadian cartoon, the show is a TV adaptation of an American comic book series which started in 2011. The comics tell the tale of the son of a scientist and a genetically altered T-Rex who protect Inner Earth, a land of dinosaurs, which is exactly where the name says it is, for the realm's evil co-discoverer and his forces. The show is done in CGI, which is a rarity these days, and something I don't think Canada has done this whole decade. When you read the description for this show, it sounds like a 7-year-old's wildest dream. I mean, you've got dinosaurs, superheroes, futuristic tech, and Canada is tasked with putting it all together into a great TV show. With a name like Super Dinosaur, this show's got a lot to live up to, so let's see if it does.
Want to see something truly mind-blowing? Then check this out! Yeah! Epic, right?
From the very first moments of this show, you know this looks super different than anything that's been on TV before. This looks like a movie. The look of this show is super cinematic, and the selective way that certain objects break the frame, as if you were watching in 3D, is very inventive and unique, though it gets used more in this first episode than it does in the second. Also unique about this show runs full 22-minute episodes. Not quarter hours, these are whole halves. For a cartoon these days, and a Canadian cartoon at that, that's gutsy. The fact that we dive straight into the action without setting up the premise, save through the narration of our main kid, is a bit jarring and kind of breaks that show don't tell philosophy that's prevalent in storytelling. This show doesn't seem to set itself up all that well, but we do get to know our two main characters pretty well. Derek Dynamo is smart, but he's also a bit of a smart aleck. As we get to see later on, he's a bit overconfident, especially in battle. And our title character himself, Super Dinosaur, is witty, quick on his feet, and with the help of his robo-arms, can really pack a punch. Speaking of, while the battle sequence we land in on, and spend 5 whole minutes with, pulls few punches, it doesn't feel very punchy. It's all the right moves physically, but there's just some lacking thing that's nagging throughout this show. After the battle, the series takes some time to build the story on the home front, and things aren't exactly perfect at the Dynamo Dome. Earth Corps, their generic governmental organization, is getting worried, and this isn't the only problem facing young Derek and SD. His scientist father, as we learn through the episode, isn't all there right now, thanks to a recent previous standoff, facts which the rest of this episode largely sets up, but the event itself remains unseen. Derek's been covering for his father well, but the first episode sets things up as a very duct tape kind of situation. Earth Corps wants to send in more support, which Derek feels will ultimately tear his family apart once his plot is revealed. It's not until the second fight that the major villain is revealed, Max Maximus, who in the comics co-discovered Inner Earth with Derek's dad. That's not brought up in the show, nor is the concept of Inner Earth really explained that well. The second battle ends up a little Pyrrhic. Not only does Earth Corps lose what they were trying to retrieve in the battle, but Derek also experiences his worst case scenario when the Corps general tells him that they'll be getting that support staff he didn't want. He spends the entire next episode trying to shake them after they arrive, but that plan fails too. The first episodes of this show are paced fairly well, but they have stretched things a bit, trying to set everything up in the first episode, given the results of the first battle lead directly into the second. Their attempt to fill out and tie their expository loose ends comes off as underbaked. I feel this show's writers could have looked for a better way to set up everything that they needed to set up without making the plot feel so bare. Derek and SD come off as a little smug at times, and that dings them a little as characters for me. Save for Derek being a super genius, they generally stick to familiar tropes for boys this age, which wouldn't feel so bad if this whole show didn't feel so sloppily pieced together. Super Dinosaur feels about 80% of the way there as a show. It just needed one more round of creative finessing, maybe 2, before it probably would have come out as something that's as high caliber of a product as I expect from Canada. But presented as it is here, while the visuals are stunning, the writing and development are lackluster. The CGI punches above its weight, but the rest of the show just flat out underperforms, which leaves you with an overall show that just doesn't completely work. With a name and a premise like Super Dinosaur, you'd think that this would be the most awesome show ever, but instead, it just let you down. It's like the idea of the 7-year-old that theoretically came up with this show got mangled by corporate executives until they found it acceptable, regardless of how it dulled the original creative vision. While it's still better than a lot of the American fare I've seen lately, and I'd pick this over, say, anything on Cartoon Network, it's just so disappointing of a show that it doesn't deserve to have Super Dinosaur as its title. But at least I know now. 2018 was just an off year for Canada. Between this and Cupcake and Down General Services, cartoons from up north just fell flat last year. But boy, did they come back swinging in 2019, and my first piece of evidence is DNAce, which premiered this summer. I reviewed it right here, and remember to hit subscribe to check out more from the world of television with me every single week. I'm Benzie Johnson Jr., I'm enthusiastic about television, and I'll see you next time.